In this video I'm going to be talking about how I felt during the 10 weeks of dancing, so how I was feeling when I'd done the different dances and what we were doing. So in dancing for the first week, it was sort of how we were feeling and what everyone's sort of, not potential was, but what everyone could do. So because there was such a difference in people who can dance and people who aren't specialised in dancing, because for me, I've been dancing for such a long time, I know what I'm doing, but some people have never danced before in their life, so it was sort of realising what that balance was and seeing what people can and can't do. And then, so after we sort of learnt what to do there, we started to make targets for ourselves. So short term, medium term, and I think long term or something. So for my short term target, it was to be able to do the splits. So right leg, left leg, and box splits. And then my medium target was to do a double pirouette. And then my long term target was to do a split leap jump. And so during the second week we learned some dances, so some floor work, some warm-up technique. So this was just to sort of get used to the kind of things that were gonna happen and what the dance was sort of about. So we also learnt what we were going to do for the first couple of weeks and sort of what each term was going to be. So for the first term it was contemporary, then it was ballet, and for dancing week 3 we started to learn some different dances as well. So one was foot coordination, and I just couldn't get it in my head because you had to do something with your feet as well as spin your arms around, which sounds easy, but once you do it, it's actually really quite difficult for me, and I just couldn't get it in my head. I could only do one way with my arms and my feet going at the same time, and it was really challenging because I'm so used to one body part sort of moving at one time. So doing a jump or doing a pirouette, it's limited movement with each body part, but with this it's very different, so it's quite hard to get that in my head, and if that makes sense. And so that was quite challenging to do for the first couple of weeks, but then sort of as I started to try it at home and see how I was and if I could do it and how I could get better. And slowly but surely I did get better, but I'm still struggling a bit with it. And then I had to go out for a professional performance, so I missed a couple weeks. So on week 7 we started to learn ballet, which is my sort of specialty as such because I've been doing it for 14 years now. So when I got into ballet, it was quite, okay, this is sort of what we're doing, but the usual sort of ballet is very, okay, this is the move, that's what you have to do. But with Catherine, it was very much, okay, this is the move, and this is, so sort of like try it out and like interpret it as you want. And for the first couple of weeks, I was sort of like, okay, yeah, alright. I was sort of quite sceptical about it, and I sort of found it quite hard as such. But then when I got into it a bit more and sort of tried new things out that I usually wouldn't try out, I sort of got into it and I thought, yeah, alright, this is quite fun actually. But for the first couple of weeks I was like, oh god, what does she mean? Like this isn't ballet, this is more contemporary ballet. And it was sort of, I just couldn't get my head around it. And then we started to learn the Christmas dance of the Nutcracker, which was really fun because it was very much ballet, but also at the same time it was a lot more sort of free moving contemporary kind of stuff, which was quite fun. And then in week 8 we learned most of the dance, the Christmas dance, and then we had to make up our own sort of little sweets as such, because we were all different types of sweets. So I was a gobstopper, and I had to make a dance piece of 8 counts of 4, which at the start I was like, oh my god, that's so long. But then sort of when I got into it and started to do it, I thought, okay, this is alright. But at the same time it was quite challenging for me, because I have been dancing for a long time, and my group were a bunch of boys who have never danced in their life before. So trying to teach them some of the dance moves was quite difficult, but at the same time it was really fun, because it was almost that challenge of trying to teach people dance who have never danced before, but seeing that they were enjoying it and seeing how they liked to learn it. And it was just really nice to see me put some ideas forward, and then they also put some as well, so it wasn't just me putting in ideas. It was nice to see that like all of us were sort of like chucking in ideas and then seeing what we could and couldn't do. And then for week 9 we just started to just put that frame of work that we had made up into the actual dance piece, and just learn the rest of the dance, which was quite fun. And then for week 10 we just went over and over and over the Nutcracker, and we also showed the other group. So they were in group B for the performing arts, so they were doing the same dance of the Nutcracker, but also they done different types of, they were different suites, so they done different types of dancers in their little frames. And it was nice because there was another group of boys who were gobstoppers as well, and it was nice to see what their interpretation of the dance was and what they could do as well.